Saying good morning to those of you listening to Classic Radio 105.5, 105.9 on the FM dial. Those of you who are viewing us via GBN TV, whether it's Channel 7, Channel 11, Channel 20, good morning. Those of you also via social media platforms, whether it's a Facebook page, YouTube channels, good morning. What about GBN webpage? Good morning to all of you who are listening and viewing this morning, and welcome to another edition of To The Point. It's Thursday, the 21st day of March, and on Thursdays here on To The Point, we do, of course, entertain various departments within the Royal Grenada Police Force, and this morning we have the Community Relations Department with us this morning. Let's say good morning to my, I see it's like a regular from time to time. I haven't seen him for a couple of weeks, but he's one of the regulars. Of course, you have Officer Noel with us this morning, and I think it's the first time I'm having this woman police constable with me this morning. That's Juan Roberts. Hope I get your name right. Good morning to both of you, and welcome to The Point this morning. How you folks doing this morning?
Yes, good morning to you, and good morning to the GBN family listening locally and in the diaspora. Again, as you said, I've been away for a while, but I'm so glad to be back here again to continue in the effort, towards prevention of crime. As we would have recognized in recent times, we had I would say a spike in serious incidents being reported to the police, and that is one of our primary reasons for being on the program, is to help in the reduction of crime and removing the fear of crime among our citizens. And so we are here again, in an effort to continue that.
All right, so good. WPC Juan Roberts, any opening comments from you this morning? I see you being a little bit quiet this morning. Any opening comments from you?
Good morning to you and the listening public. Thank you for having us here this morning.
And you're certainly welcome. Our reason for being here this morning, we're talking safety in general this morning. We're heading into the Easter season. There's lots of opportunities for especially youngsters who will be taking vacation from school, the do's and don'ts in terms of the security that you may want to offer them. There are things that they want to get themselves involved in around this time of the year that, for not only but for all citizens in general. Safety is definitely important. Let's kick it off this morning in terms of the safety measures that you would like to extend to our listening and viewing public this morning. Before we get in depth into the conversation this morning, what would like to kick it off? What would you like to start it off this morning in terms of safety measures that you would like to expand on this morning?
GT, being the the officer here with more experience, I would use the opportunity to first, remind our citizens, our listeners that Easter is a time, the significance of Easter.
Yes.
And Easter is when, we celebrate the resurrection of Christ. It's still in the Yuletide, period. And we want to remind our citizens that, the activities that we engage ourselves in, we must first and foremost remember the primary efforts is to celebrate, the resurrection of Christ, and not so much to celebrate on or focus on drinking large sums of alcohol and fetting and so that can lead to our demise. And in that regard, we recognize that school will also be on holiday, and so we thought it fitting to share some useful information, some safety tips as to how to go about. We think it might be best for you to, go about remaining safe during that period we refer to as the Easter period.
All right. And so let's get into those tips. Let's if you have to start it off with a particular safety tip in a generalized nature. Let me speaking to everyone. What are those safety tips in a generalized nature we would like to expand on this morning?
Some of those safety tips we would start with first what is we see as most significant, and around Easter we cannot deny that almost every year we would have an incident or two of either one, a very serious or fatal accident.
Yes.
And secondly, a drowning or something of that sort. We know that around this period the tides are very, rough and turbulent. And so we want to, start by doing the safety measures in relation to going to the beach or the sea. And WPC1 Roberts would share some of these safety tips with us.
All right. So we kick it off with the folks deciding, hey, I want to go to the beach today. I'm taking members of my family. What are the do's and don'ts in terms of the safety tips that you would like to offer those individuals this morning who are listening? And sometimes they may know of it because, from time to time, every year we talk about it. But sometimes you don't put the attention in it because, time may have elapsed on you for some reason or the other. Let's kick it off with safety tips that relates to going to the beach, the do's and don'ts, and so forth.
All right. So my tips is basically directed more to the parents and guardians.
Yes.
Right? So with the approaching Easter holiday, school will be out. Most definitely. So whether it be at home or at an outing, empowering children to be safety savvy is important. So I'd like to share some tips for the parents and guardians as to how they can keep their children safe during this period.
All right, go right ahead.
Right. So parents, guardians, encourage or remind children about the significance of keeping entry and exit doors locked, and that no one is to enter the property without your permission.
All right.
Ensure children are properly supervised at all times. Always keep a list of emergency contacts near the telephone or on the fridge within your children's reach. This list should include police emergency numbers, 911, or the nearest police station, and also any other contact deemed necessary.
All right.
If your child regularly walks to a friend in the neighborhood, walk the route with him or her. Older children should be encouraged to inform parents or guardians when they are leaving and when they arrive at the destination. Explain to children that it is better to walk a somewhat longer route down familiar streets where there is more activity than taking shortcuts or walking along deserted areas. In the cases of crowds, ensure that a child is holding onto your hand, especially when going through crowds. Teach your child who he or she can go to for help if he or she gets separated from you. In cases of going to the beach or pool, advise to engage children in talks on water safety. Never leave children unattended in or around large bodies of water. Remember that children using flotation devices must be properly supervised. And be mindful that even a small inflatable pool, a bucket full of water, is a potential danger for children.
All right.
If a child goes missing while at the beach or pool, check the water first, as every second counts in preventing drowning or permanent disability.
All right. There's something specific I would like to ask questions on in terms of how you would think. The option of parents, instructing their children, the use of the telephone to make calls. How important do you, from the community relation point of view, how important do you think it is for a parent to teach that son or daughter of theirs, of loading specific numbers? You did mention the 911, other important numbers. How important you feel is that for parents to instill that into their sons and daughters to make those calls? We know it may be a cost to some parents for some reason because they are youngsters who abuse it. I can speak about that first. They abuse it by calling you constantly. But how important it is for you to teach your sons and daughters, especially the younger ones, the option of calling you just in case there are an emergency or something of that nature arises?
Well, GT, I should say that is should be a primary objective of all parents. It is very important. As a matter of fact, I believe that is something that you should try to teach your child from as soon as they can understand or use the telephone. I wouldn't even say pre-primary school, but it's important. It can save lives. We have to teach them also as they grow older. How important it is not to dial these numbers unnecessarily.
Yes.
But it's very important that at least they know the 911 number. At least they can, if not dial your number, but know your number so they can give it to someone should in case an emergency occur or they get lost or something. And in the event of any other circumstance, because we don't want a situation to arise where just by ignorance a child end up in let's say for instance a fire break out in a home, and a child could make that emergency call. You might be by the neighbor, but by the time you recognize the smoke coming, if you received a phone call, you would have already been home and maybe able to maybe at least get the children out of the house. So it's something important. We don't want to trivialize that, how important it is. And so in time to come, we would really have the department of the RGPF responsible for that area come and share some information with you and the general public, so you can be more aware of the importance of knowing the 911 number and the importance of using it wisely and not abusing it.
All right. You also spoke in the tips. We had the WPC one. Robertson spoke of tips in relation to parents teaching their sons and daughters in terms of road use, the usage of the roads and stuff. Expand on that a wee bit for me. Especially you said in terms of use the longer routes. Some parents may want to tell it, hey, better you pass around the house or pass there or there. It may get you there faster, but it's not always the best route that someone could take. Expand on that a wee bit for me this morning. Who's going to expand on it?
Well, yeah, GT. So, as we say, shortcut is not always the best. As we refer to, we sometimes say, the easy way is not always the best way.
Yes.
Shortcuts are normally deserted areas where persons or criminals would tend to use the opportunity to seek out and to prey on the victims and so on. And so we would advise that if you using the shortcut, you should be in the company of an adult. Yeah. And that's why WPC1 said, you use the if you have to use a longer route where it's more activities that is taking place. You find the vehicles passing more frequent. You will find more pedestrians, and so we would advise that you use that route instead of taking the shorter way, which might be maybe a more dangerous way. Safety is paramount in everything that we do. We leave home every day taking it for granted that we will return, and a lot of times people don't return home, and not because they plan not to return home, but because of some unfortunate mishap or event that turn up. We want to do all in our power to ensure that and sometimes, we give tips and we don't take it ourselves, but we want to do all in our power to ensure that our nation remains safe, and, generally we have a reduction in the amount of crime and incidences that are reported to the police.
All right, so true. We drew for a break. Let's take our first break in this segment, folks. We'll be right back. Stay with us, folks. Don't you touch your dial.
Huggins Private Primary School Championship this Thursday at the Kirani James Athletic Stadium from 1 p.m.
The Ministry of Tourism, the Creative Economy and Culture presents the Peter Phillip Drumco Competition 2024, Friday, 22nd March at the Roy St. John playing field, Tantin, St. George. Starting time 2 p.m. Children in school uniform pay $5. Adults pay $10. Visit Grenadian Culture on Instagram and Facebook and register today. Registration closes 18th March. Call 440-0366 or 533-6715 for more information. The Peter Phillip Drumco Competition 2024, Friday, 22nd March.
We've got exciting news for sports enthusiasts. The National Sports Policy is advancing and we're moving to the next stage. Get ready as the parish sports councils will be formulated in each parish, including Carriacou and Petit Martinique. The National Sports Council Secretariat takes the lead, starting discussions and organizing elections of officers. Be a part of this crucial process. Meeting kicks off on March 16th, 2024. Your participation matters. Let's shape the future of sports together. Be the voice in your parish's sports future. Attend the meetings and make a difference. Your involvement counts.
See you at the GBSS Auditorium St. George on Thursday, 21st March 2024 at 6 p.m.
Welcome back once again, listeners and viewers. It's To The Point here, Classic Radio, GBN TV, and welcome back to officers this morning once again. We continue with, of course, our conversation this morning. We're talking safety. And this segment, of course, the WPC one, Roberts, did start it off in her opening when she was speaking about tips, per se, about the use of the beach. Around this time of the year, once again, Easter season, lots of folks maybe decide, hey, let's go and have a little bit of a fun day on the beach. Parents having conversation with other folks on the beach, not paying that due attention to the youngsters, especially if they can't, getting themselves involved in other activities, especially parents, maybe with friends, drinking and so forth, and then want to go into the water. Let's talk about some safety tips that you would like to offer, especially to youngsters, but also there's also the concern for adults also. Parents are, the youngsters, my bad, is not always the ones that are doing the thing that are maybe wrong, but we also have adults who may visit the beach from time to time and get themselves, into situation, and just because they wasn't following the proper safety procedures themselves. Let's get some of those tips that you may want to offer to our listening and viewing public this morning as it relates to that.
Okay, so GT, we mentioned the use of alcohol before, and using the alcohol, it can give you that sense of false confidence, and we want to advise that if you've been consuming excessive or you've been consuming alcohol, you avoid going far out at sea. Yeah. Sometimes you can swim, but the use of alcohol tends to give you that sense of false confidence, and you feel you indispensable. All right, so.
I remember my mom always used to say, seawater has no branches. Yeah.
No branches. Even we WPC once spoke about the children, but the adults, sometimes you can't swim. We ask you not to venture far out at sea. Stay within an area that you, at least, the water don't go beyond your knee. So you could take a sea bath, enjoy yourself.
Maybe a little bit difficult, but I understand.
Yes. So we don't want you to, venture far out at sea and then your life is endangered and you're not in a position to help yourself. We have seen it before. People go to the beach around Easter and they camp out and so on, and they after camping, they remove the tents and so, but they leave all the garbage behind. I guess the primary reason you went to that beach is because you find it very attractive and beautiful, and so we urging again, we here speaking against littering, and let's try or do our best, in terms of keeping Grenada clean, keeping our beaches in particular, extremely clean. As one of our primary products is tourism, and we rely quite, heavily on tourism. So we want our beaches for us to enjoy as locals, and as well for us to get some sort of income.
All right.
Again, going to the beaches, you go to the beach, you want you to carry your water, carry your lights, and you go to camp on the beach again, you have to be mindful that you're not at home, so you have to be extra vigilant, because it's an opportunity that perpetrators always looking for when you are most vulnerable. You go to the beach, you're out in the exposed, and you consume large volumes of alcohol, you're drunk, especially the females.
Make yourself become vulnerable.
Yeah. So you have to be on the guard and pay a lot of attention to the way you go about, how you go about carrying yourself in those sort of situations. Again, our beaches, as you say, they have no branches. in areas where some beaches have areas where designated as no swimming areas.
Yeah.
So we advise that you don't swim. The lifeguard might be at some beaches, to look out for you and your safety. Please listen to them. There are areas as well where there's no fishing, or you can, when you're camping, you look for the little lobster and the seafood and so on. But there are areas where you're not allowed to go to fish and so on. So we advise that you comply with the instructions and with the law in particular. And so we're here again to offer safety guidance, because we don't want, at the end of the day, although the law says ignorance of the law is no excuse, but we don't want that you go out there, you get yourself involved in trouble, and then you come back and say, but you didn't know. And when you say you didn't know, it's because it's too late. We, again, going to the beach, GT, a lot of families, large families, want to go to the beach.
Yeah.
But what is the means of going to the beach? Sometimes it might be a small car owned by the family, and you have 12 and 13 members in that family. Would you overload the vehicle with the 13 persons? And travel along the road, take the risk of traveling along the road to go to the beach all at once, or would you make 2 or 3 trips to the beach? We advise that you don't violate the rules of the road, and so if you have to make 2 or 3 trips, then you make 2 or 3 trips, but don't overload the vehicle, because at the same time, we want to intertwine those things. How the abuse of the alcohol can lead to a fatal accident on the road.
Or get the appropriate vehicle that could accommodate everyone, save you the multiple trips also.
Of
if
course.
your vehicle is too small, well, I guess you may not want to carry 13 people if it's
based on where you're coming from.
You understand? Sometimes the distance where you're coming from also.
Yeah. Yes, so sometimes there might be a driver on the road that might be under the influence of alcohol, and your vehicle is already overloaded, so it's very hard for you to maneuver. This sharp turn might cause the vehicle to capsize, and so we urge you, to pay attention to every little detail as you go through, not only this Easter season, but as you go through life. And sometimes we learn from mistakes, we learn from experiences, and you don't have to experience it yourself, but you can look at others who have been through that situation before and come to the conclusion that you need to comply with laws and instructions.
All right. The option of going to the beach also, I mean, what advice would you give to individuals when they see, the waters, or we see high tides and so forth? What advice would you like to give to them, the individuals, when they go to the beach and the water is of that particular nature?
So, GT, I would advise you not to go into the water. I mean, some people see it as a challenge. I know some people
folks
have
will say,
this adrenaline.
I want to ride the waves or stuff like that, but not everyone.
The people who surf and so on would love that sort of tide. But if you can't swim, I would not see how you can tell me that the tide is extremely high. The waves are rough, and you want to go into the water just for fun. Just for fun. GT is like, gambling your life, because we have to remember that there's always tomorrow. There's always another day that you can visit the beach when, the waves would be calm and so on, and you can enjoy to the fullest. Just the right timing, I think, is very crucial.
All right. Now, the use of alcohol is not only allotted for, as you mentioned, for road users also. The Community Relations Department, of course, the focus is broadline in terms of the community. Advise individuals who may be considering drinking and want to drive and stuff like that. What advice would you like to pour to them this morning on that?
Well, GT, drinking and driving, it's against the law. Yes? So there's 2 different sections of the law in relation to alcohol and driving. All right? So consuming alcohol whilst driving is against the law. Yeah. And drunk driving is against the law.
Okay.
So anyhow you do it, it's an offense. The difference is, like, if you're drunk and for you to be, charged for drunk driving, you would have to do a test.
Yes.
Yeah, you would have to do a test. The other way, you would be drinking, but they would also have to test the substance that you found with in the bottle. Yeah.
All right.
So anyhow you do it, it's an offense. Yes, and we strongly, we speak against that, as we would have seen in recent times. There have been serious campaigns against, the what should say, against, drunk driving and against, reckless and dangerous driving. I must commend, as we speak, retired Superintendent of Police, Mr. Sylvan McIntyre, and
he's here with me every Monday morning.
Yes, and his efforts with the Asha McIntyre Foundation. I believe things like that, outside of the RGPF, when we recognize that we have other persons who are seriously, tackling issues like that, then we recognize it's a problem. And it's a problem that, if we address it adequately, can only result in a safer Grenada, a safer country for us as pedestrians and as a nation totally, because we can't tell who it would be on the road that that someone who is under the influence, or not only under the influence, but someone who is tired and wants to sleep, or someone who might fall sick could knock down. There are instances when it's unavoidable, and so we understand that. But when we have alcohol contributing to these serious accidents, and when we have negligence, we want to urge persons again. Not only the use of alcohol can contribute to that, but your negligence to check your motor vehicle. Do regular servicing. Some people, they operate public vehicles to offer in public service, and they don't check the vehicles regularly. So it becomes, a public hazard, and it might look good on the outside, but when the brakes fails, I mean, you're endangering the lives of
yourself and other folks, others in general. I mean, your safety is the ultimate part of this conversation we have in this morning. We know we're getting into the Easter season, and folks always feel it's a time to do things that are off the normal for them, for some reason or the other. We know of serious accidents happening and stuff like that always because of folks' negligence or not following the proper safety protocol that they should be following from time to time in terms of whatever they're doing. We speak of the alcohol, we fix up the folks visiting and going to the beaches and so forth. And all of that is important for the safety for yourself and other road users, and the safety of your home in general also when you move along. Anything else you want to say? You want to tap in? Let's say, of course, WPC1. Roberts, you want to put in anything in terms of the conversation this morning?
Yes, sir. While we are on the topic of alcohol.
Yeah.
All right, what we're seeing now is the trend in children consuming alcohol.
Yes.
So we like to advise the parents to speak to the children about the dangers in consuming alcohol. Also, I want to advise persons, especially the women, to know who they're accepting drinks from while out at activities.
All right. I mean, youngsters' use of alcohol is also, as they say, young people follow the trend in terms of what they see. And, sometimes parents are the one we always seem to have to throw that a little bit of blame onto, because they're probably doing it within the house, some parent that the youngsters are seeing them doing it, or they're probably out in public and the youngsters are seeing them doing it also. Yes. And that's where the problem stems from most of the time.
And what we are hearing a lot of these days is like younger siblings, being involved in the abuse of illegal substances, and
yes.
So the parents might look at those who may just have grown into adulthood, but they would focus at the younger ones, but not knowing that the younger ones are exposed to what the bigger siblings are doing. And so you don't only pay attention to the younger ones, but to everything that is happening in your household, and take action. Not only talk and so, but when something happens, take action. You don't wait until the law have to step in, because the big talk these days, is consequences for your action is the big factor. That's a big factor, and that is what we want the general public to look at. Yes, you can do, but when you do, what you do, there is consequences for it. Either you reap good benefits or bad benefits. Either you rewarded or you're punished.
Or you pay the consequence for your actions. And everyone has a right to determine where they want to do in life, and going on the positive route is always the best one for everyone to think of.
Of course.
We due for a break again. Let's take it. We come back. We still have much more to talk about. Your phone calls are also welcome. If you do have a question or two or some clarification in terms of the safety measures, you maybe have an issue that you think you want to know a clarification in terms of safety measures for it. Feel free to give us a call, 435-2041. You could also call us also via the WhatsApp, 435-2041. We'll be right back after the break. Stay with us, folks. Don't touch it.
The Planning and Development Authority of Grenada, PDA, is enforcing regulations to curb illegal, disorderly, and unauthorized development in several locations throughout the state of Grenada. The authority is concerned that structures mainly associated with vending are negatively impacting the environment, has undesirable public health and sanitation consequences, present obstructions to vehicle and pedestrian traffic, can become projectiles during adverse weather conditions, and generally affect the aesthetics of the nation. The PDA will work along with stakeholder ministries and institutions to effect the demolition, removal, and disposal of structures which fall in the category of illegal and disorderly development, commencing January 2024. In this regard, persons who vend in or occupy such illegal structures are advised to secure their personal belongings and have the structures removed ahead of the planned PDA demolition operations. These actions of the PDA have become necessary to safeguard and protect public health and the environment, ensure the safety and well-being of all citizens and visitors, discourage any future disorderly construction, and encourage compliance to regulations pertaining to physical development in the state of Grenada. This is a message from the Planning and Development Authority of Grenada.
What if you had a choice? A choice of joining a line or a choice of making your purchases online? What would you choose? While you ponder on that, the National Lotteries Authority has provided another purchasing option. All their games are now available online. Yes, Grenadians, from wherever you are, purchase your favorite daily and jackpot type games using any electronic device. Register on the NLA's website at www.nla.gd. Top up your account and enjoy online lottery gaming at your convenience. We're taking shopping comfort up, several notches. But the choice is yours. Join a line or buy online. NLA, make your dreams come true.
Welcome back, listeners. Welcome back, viewers. It's To The Point here, Classic Radio, 105.5, 105.9, GBN TV. This segment, we didn't invite you, listeners. If you do have a question or two, you may, or an opinion you would like to share, feel free to do so. We do have a caller. Let's take this caller before we continue our conversation. Caller, good morning. You're welcome.
Yeah, good morning, GT, and good morning to the officers. And I want to sort of encourage you to continue your effort, but I need to make some points. One, and it's the first one directed to GBN. Alcohol was mentioned, and I think every time I don't listen to radio, listen to news. I mean, I don't watch TV or so. I listen to news. And they have advertisement for alcohol in prime time during news, and we encourage children to listen to news. So to me, it's a contradiction. That's one. Then secondly, we have over the years destroyed possibilities for young people. Like we have the botanical gardens, we have different areas. They're no longer, even the Queen's Park area that children from Fountain Noel, Cherry Hill, River Road, St. George's, and even Mongie and some they still use. They know, and of course, Dabo. They no longer have those facilities available because we make way for the stadiums. Then the absence of groups of organization that the kids could associate with. We had to look at this thing comprehensively. Otherwise, we just spinning top in mud. And I heard one of the officers says, well, you tell the parents, tell the children. We know that children don't really, people generally don't really take up too much what they hear. They take up more what they see. So we have to model the behavior. And not, sometimes I get the impression that we are all in a reactive mode based on incidents that happen. But we have to sit down carefully and analyze, well, how have we contributed to the current state, and how can we ensure going forward that we can minimize the possibility of certain things happening going forward. I just thought I'd share that. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much for your contribution this morning. Any response to the call? Anything you said that you think is necessary to respond to?
GT, I want to just make this statement that, from my observation, in recent times, a lot was done in relation to, curbing the issue of, delinquent behavior among our youths. A lot of the, and I'm not speaking just about now, I'm speaking in recent as the last 3 years. A lot of the playing fields, that have been, abandoned and stuff. Attention was given to them, and a lot of them have been lit. And, the people in the community, they can now go and exercise, whether it might be they finish work 4, 5, 6, they can go, run in the playing field, play some football. And so that goes a long way in terms of keeping our youths occupied and keeping them away from drama. Although in some areas you would find that smaller fields have been developed, it is for the greater good of our nation. And in that particular area, the Queen's Park area, there is a field that is available to the public, and it's so we have to look.
And we don't see the youngsters making use of it from time to day, or making use of it.
Yes. There's a lot more that can be done. There's a lot more in terms of community engagements and so on. But we are covering some grounds, and we hope that a lot more of the people in the private sector would get on board and assist in terms of supporting those initiatives.
We do have another caller. Caller, good morning. You're welcome.
Oh yes, good morning. Good morning, GT, and good morning to the officers.
Good morning to you.
Yeah. No, I listen. Good program. I would want to make some recommendation as it relates to, we have a leadership managerial problem. It seems as though we just put system in place and we expect people to manage on their own, to do your own thing, and that's not management. You have to have on-the-spot direction. Now, as it relates to the beaches, and I'm concerned about every Easter people drowning on the beaches, I would suggest that we get to the point of making all the beaches economically viable, not only on the particular day, but throughout the day, through the year. We should have activities, economic activities on all the beaches, so that it will be useful, or maybe let's say revenue enhancing, so that you can put people, management on the beach on a constant level. Now, I would suggest that you have what you call a net span across those important beaches, because it's difficult to get people to stay within a particular range. So if you put net across the beaches, right, as a barrier so that you can't go beyond that point, I think this is going to help. But we have to get all the beaches up and running economically, so that you could train people and have them employed on every one of the beaches, the sea bathing beaches, yeah? So that you're not putting people there and how I'm going to pay them because it is not viable. Upgrade all the beaches to the status of water, electricity, road water, electricity, and economic activities on a constant daily basis. So you could put the relevant people there to manage and to protect those beaches. I would suggest that to the officers.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much for your contribution this morning. We're moving on. I guess the caller spoke a lot there.
He suggests to the officers, but the officers would suggest that it's something for the ministry to look at.
I'll get Ministry of Tourism or so forth. You can look at
something for the ministry to really look at. It's a good point.
Yes. Let's move along this morning before we entertain another caller. You know, we're getting into the Easter season once again. Kite flying will definitely is going to be one of those issues that the Community Relations Department will have some concerns about in terms of how youngsters go around flying kites. The do's and don'ts that you have, of course, tips in terms of kite flying that you would like to, of course, inform them about.
Yeah, Shitty, like you said, in Grenada here, kite flying has become part of our culture. So what we want to do is to encourage persons when flying the kite to do so safely and be considerate when doing it.
Yes.
Right? So we advise persons when flying kite to stay away from power lines.
All right.
Stay away from the no-flying zone. So that's places like Calais, Frequently, Mount Morris, Mongelu, and other places. In the event that your kite caught and goes onto someone's property, ask permission before entering the person's property.
All right.
We don't want anybody trespassing on person's property.
I agree.
That's an offense in itself.
All right.
Right? We advise persons to fly the kites more over the sea. Right? More over the sea. Yes.
I guess in areas where it's closer to the sea, so you could go in that direction to avoid that. Okay, great.
In the cases where the kite may be tangled in power lines, we advise persons do not pull the line of that kite. You can be shocked.
Yes.
Most likely death can occur or serious injuries. So what we advise persons to do in instances like this, contact Glen.
All right. Great.
Yes, so GT again. We cannot be naive and take away from the fact that although kite flying is a tradition, but the noise created from the mad bull of those kites can be of significant disturbance to persons,
especially at night.
Especially at nights, and we have to bear in mind that we can't be selfish. Not because you enjoy the noise that your kite make. Everyone wouldn't enjoy it. And there are persons who, want to get a rest. Everyone is not built in the same way and cannot, withstand that volume of noise. So some persons, if they are hearing that, they may not be able to get a comfortable night rest. They might have something important to do. Again, with the kite getting entangled in the line, when you pull that line and there's an interruption, disturbance in the flow of current through that line.
It affects everyone. Eh?
Someone might be doing an exam, online exam. Someone might be having an important interview, or something important might be taking place. It can lead to damaging of persons appliances.
So true.
And so on. Again, I've seen it in the past where kite, the thread is so thin, the nylon would fall across the road or the cord, and persons riding bike could get entangled in the twine that can lead to serious damage. I've known that, I've seen persons riding in the back of trucks, and getting entangled in twines and leading to serious injuries to the neck and hand. Sometimes when you see it, you wonder if somebody make a cutlass to the neck.
Yeah.
And so it's something, that we have to look at quite seriously. Even the bigger kites, in some areas you would see persons flying kites that are in excess of 10 feet tall. Those kites, they sometimes is very heavy. They will have to get a truck to put it up. And if those kites fall on your property, your house, can cause extensive damage to your roof or maybe to your windows or whatever part of the house, it falls on. So it's something that, we asking, individuals to be very considerate about. If you're flying your kites, as the officer said, fly it in an open area. the best place to fly it is over the sea. If it falls, it don't fall into the water. It wouldn't fall on the house, and so on. We just want to reiterate that.
Still may not want to encourage them to venture into the water to get it.
Yeah. It's just a kite. You cut it and you make a next one, or you
build a next one will certainly come around. All right. Let's entertain our caller. Caller, good morning. You're welcome.
Yes, good morning. Going back to the subject of the safety of children, making sure that they don't endanger themselves, etc. What precautions are taken to make sure that adults and parents do not endanger children, especially when children are in their safe place, which is school? We have a lot of incidents of vigilante parents where children have a fight and little Johnny comes home and complains about little Jamie, and parents are coming into the school gates and fighting down, endangering children in the school place through the gates. We need more protection of this. We see a lot of this happening, and apparently we have not learned a lesson, because even this morning a parent has gone into a school in St. Paul's and fight down a little boy. Ambulance and police, the child is in the hospital, police are there. So what is the police doing? What are we doing as a people, as a public, to protect our children when we send them to school, behind the school gates, to make sure that parents are not coming in and fighting fights for their children, fighting down little children because somebody said they took the lunch money or somebody took this. We need to protect our children behind the school gates. It's not okay that parents are coming in there and fighting children, and there's a child in a hospital this morning and police is in a schoolyard because parents are coming in to the school and fighting down children. We need to know they are protected. What are we doing for the safety of children from parents, from vigilante parents, bullies? Thank you very much.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much for your contribution this morning.
Yes, GT. I understand the concern of the caller. Again, we do not treat this situation lightly, as you would know, GT. There are previous incidences similar to that. However, we need to act upon a complaint. Yeah, so the parents would have to make a complaint, and I must say that the ministry have been doing quite a lot in terms of placing security at the various schools. Not all schools, though. They are still working. It's a work in progress, but it's a long way from where we started. A lot of schools who didn't have security before now have security guards placed. The police officers, we cannot be everywhere at the same time, and so we would rely a lot on members of the community, and it goes back, GT, to education, and if our parents, they are well educated and they have knowledge as to how to deal with situations and who to turn to when something happens, yes, they would definitely know how to handle the situation, and it wouldn't result in something like that. But the law doesn't treat with situations like this lightly. I'm sure that if the parents, as they contacted the police and the police responded, then the matter would be investigated and brought to the court, I guess, soonest, and we would have some, what we say, swift justice. GT, I do not believe in persons taking the law into their own hands.
No one should.
And
no one should.
And a lot of the times, when something happens, parents especially, they become so passionate and stuff. We get a lot of sensationalism coming out of issues like that. But we have to be realistic. Swift justice in a case like that wouldn't happen today for today. So we don't want, because an incident like that happened, that a parent feel that they wasn't satisfied with the way the matter was handled, and they want the person to go to the prison now, and they want the person to go to court tomorrow, and it has to be a process.
I know there's a process.
And so, we urging you, don't take matters into your own hands, because it can only lead to further conflict. Right. And making Grenada a chaotic place. So we urge you, yes, that we expect that that the situation you speak about, it would be addressed in a timely manner, and the authorities would do, whatever we can to bring some sort of, peaceful solution to that issue.
All right, we do have another caller. Caller, good morning. You're welcome.
Good morning, gentlemen, ladies. My little contribution is I wanted to make a little adjustment to the kite flying over the sea. For me, kite flying over the sea is very dangerous for me. Because many a time when I do fishing, trawling, many times my bait and bait get hooked up with a kite. I think it's a fish. Big problem. I had to ball up this thing and then put it in my boat to the thing with the cord. Then again, no. Sometimes when you motoring out, suddenly you find your engine make a different sound. When you watch, it's a whole kite thread balling up on your propeller. Sometimes when it's so dangerous that you're out at sea, but you have to get that propeller out to able to come back. Because if you leave the thread there, what has happened is get between the propeller and the base of the engine, and it damages the seal. So it's a lot of things these guys doing. Fishes, getting problem with the fish. Sometimes you might dive in, for instance, and you go down to look at a fish in a little hole in a cave, and when you're coming back up, you feel your snorkel going a different way. A kite just fall, and all these kites dangerous all over the place. I have sheep. A couple of days in last year, during the dry time, I missed one of my young sheep. When I look and see it, but 2 days after when I go, I saw the animal die. A young one, the kite thread, it get tangled in a kite thread and it just stay and perish. So the kites, they're doing a lot of things. You have some kites, they're putting them up in the beginning of the Easter and they're taking it down after the Easter. And whole night, Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you so much, caller. Thank you for your contribution this morning. We have approximately 6 more minutes left on the program. Let's take a break and we come back, and of course, probably take another call. Let's take this caller before we take the break. Caller, good morning. You're welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning to you, sir.
Now, that incident with a parent, children would be children all over your turn. Your child officer might interfere, my child hit him, etc. What I would have to do, go to the teacher or the school authorities, report the incident. The parent who will attack that child should be prosecuted. We don't play those things down. When you're the parent of the child of that parent sees mother or whoever it is coming, what is going to? This is a lead, a thing to violence, because mommy or whoever it is will come to the school and carry on. I don't like how a matter like this is played down. As a matter of fact, this should be the prerogative of the principal. Take this matter, have that parent prosecuted, and take it from there. And the other thing is, the very children that in controversy with one another, the friends tomorrow, they laughing, they put it, this looks so stupid. I can't agree with something like this at all. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much.
Let me just use that opportunity to again, to agree with the caller. And as we said, the matter is already in the hands of the police, and let's hope that it is addressed speedily.
All right. We drew for a break. Let's take it. Then we come back there. Maybe the option of us just getting some closing comments, because the almost time for us to take a wrap. Let's take a break, folks. We're coming right back. Don't touch it up.
Huggins Private Primary School Championship this Thursday at the Kirani James Athletic Stadium from 1 p.m.
We've got exciting news for sports enthusiasts. The national sports policy is advancing and we're moving to the next stage. Get ready as the parish sports councils will be formulated in each parish, including Carriacou and Petit Martinique. The National Sports Council Secretariat takes the lead, starting discussions and organizing elections of officers. Be a part of this crucial process. Meeting kicks off on March 16th, 2024. Your participation matters. Let's shape the future of sports together. Be the voice in your parish's sports future. Attend the meetings and make a difference. Your involvement counts.
See you at the GBSS Auditorium St. George on Thursday, 21st March 2024 at 6 p.m.
Whoa, whoa. Rock the box, we say, yeah.
Welcome back, listeners and viewers, once again to the point for today, Thursday, and we have the Community Relations Department from the RGPF with us this morning, and we're getting set for some closing comments in this segment. Of course, we have, WPC1 Roberts with us, and also I want to seem to be Constable and Corporal. I want to seem to miss it. Constable, right? Constable. All right. No, I was talking to Noel. Sergeant. My apologies, sir. Anyway, let's get some closing comments before we take a wrap this morning. In terms of, we spoke a lot on safety procedures from kite flying, going to the beach, encouraging your parents, the encouragement we give them on advice, I should say, we offer to parents in terms of, leaving their sons and daughters unattended at home, the safety procedure they should go. So let's get some closing comments before we wrap.
Yeah, so GT and your listeners, again, a number of points things was mentioned. We spoke about, as you say, kite flying, venturing out to the beach, going into the seawater, bathing, using alcohol and venturing into the sea. We spoke about the serious incidents that normally occur around Easter, the drowning and the serious fatal or serious accidents. And we said that a lot of this was, attributed to the fact that persons tend to, abuse alcohol and other substances around Easter and most festive time. We gave a number of safety tips. Don't forget, among them, look out for yourself primarily. And if you look out for yourself, you would tend to stay away from a number of, things that can lead to your detriment, like the recklessness, the careless, driving, the using alcohol and driving, going to the beach, parents, supervise your children. Don't neglect them, don't abandon them. They are your primary investment, and they are our future. Again, we want to use this opportunity to wish each and every one out there a safe and enjoyable, Easter holiday. Parents, we cannot overemphasize the importance of you playing that primary role in terms of safety. Speak to your children, be an example to them, lead by example. Do not, again, there's no need for you to have to, go to someone else's property or home and exhibit that sense of intolerance, and so your child would only, see what you're doing and think that it is okay to do. There's the authority, there's the police, I believe I have a lot of trust in the police, GT. We had a few incidents, but nothing I believe is beyond our purview. Nothing is beyond our control. We can deal with any situation once the law provides for us to deal with it. And we still have that sense of confidence among the public out there.
So true.
So we still have the grip on things as we speak. Come to the police. Let us address situations that is unlawful and situations that you think that you're offended with. Not everything that you come to us and ask for, we may be able to deliver, because upon investigation, sometimes there isn't sufficient evidence. There isn't, what you're saying doesn't amount to an offense. But whatever we can do to bring peace and stability to what is taking place in our nation, we will address it. And we want to take this opportunity again to wish each and every one of you a safe and enjoyable Easter holiday. And we hope to see, that we would have a conversation after the Easter and going forward.
All right, great. Thank you. WPC1 Roberts, any closing comments from you this morning?
GT, I just want to say thank you for having us and wish you and everyone a happy Easter.
And I say the same goes out to you also. And hope to have you back again. It's our first time on the show, and it's a little bit nervous in the start, but she did all well. All right, thank you both so much. I want to thank those of you who listened and those of you who viewed us on the program this morning. Thank you so much. Join us again for another edition After the Point. That's where I say goodbye for this edition, folks.